Greetings from the Northwoods of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. I'm Natasha, your plant-centered lifestyle guide, and you're tuned in to my weekly video where I provide tips and inspiration for people on their plant-centered journey. If you're joining for the first time, welcome. The topics range quite widely on my weekly videos, and many of the topics are, I choose them based on the questions that I get during the week, or if there's a topic that keeps coming up in conversation a lot, then I will tend to make a video on it. Today's topic is food sensitivities, and you might be wondering why I'm talking about food sensitivities regarding plant-centered living. Well, anytime that you make a big change in your life, going from one way of eating to another way of eating, for example, your body is going to have an adjustment period. For some people, that's a detox period, and I did do a video on that, and I'll try to throw that up on the screen so that you can watch that if you haven't. But you go through that detox period, or you may go through that detox period, but at the same time, what happens is you become more in tune to your body because you're getting the junk out. And so now you're able to listen to what your body's saying. And perhaps there have been some foods that have been causing you some issues for a while, and you didn't really realize it because there was so many other things going on in your body. Now, I am someone who probably, I would say for the last 15 years, has in my mind, dealt with food sensitivities. Now, I have had food sensitivity testing done in many locations by many doctors and with differing results. Now, the reason that I'm telling you my story is because I'm not a dietitian. I am a food educator, and what I share with you is based on my own personal experience. Now, with food sensitivities, what I found over the years is that I would go in and I would have the food sensitivity testing, usually a blood test, and I've had various types of blood tests for food sensitivity testing. And it would come back with any number of things that I was sensitive to that I needed to avoid for a while to let my body calm down and then maybe perhaps be able to reintroduce those items. But what I often found is that if I could reintroduce those items into my system, that was great. But then it always seemed like I would go in for retesting, and now there would be a new batch of things that I was sensitive to. And what started happening to me is that I started doing a lot of self-monitoring inside my body. And I would start to worry. And then I would start to basically, you know how they talk about helicopter moms being really overprotective of their kids? Well, I was really overprotective of my body. And so I would think, oh, okay, I just ate something. Did that cause it? Oh, am I feeling a little bit of stomach upset? Is my head feeling like there's a headache coming on? And I was just constantly monitoring my body based on the foods that I was eating. It was taking away the joy of meal times. And at the same time, there's a huge brain-gut connection or gut-brain connection that if I'm worrying and I'm thinking about all of this, then I may in fact be inducing those upset stomach feelings or the feelings of nausea or whatever it is that those food sensitivities might be causing me. So I really started to wonder if all of those food sensitivity tests were really worth it. And like I said, after 15 plus years, I've come to believe that in certain instances, to get people going on the right track of a particular health issue, then they certainly may be worth your while. But in general, several years ago, I would say 3 years ago, I went to a particular physician outside of our area, and he said to me, you know, we don't really believe in the concept of food sensitivities. He's like, sure, there might be foods that you eat that your body doesn't really like, and so what you should do is stay away from those, at least for a while. But then he went on to explain to me why, and this really helped put it in perspective for me. He said, well, think about it this way. If what they're doing is taking molecules of certain foods and introducing your blood to those molecules in a laboratory setting, that is It's not really real life. And there's a lot more processes going on in your body that could affect things that are not present in a lab. And so he went on to explain to me that our bodies are continually monitoring themselves every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day. And our needs for certain vitamins and minerals and nutrients that we are getting from foods change very drastically from minute to minute, day to day, because of environmental factors, because of stress that we might be experiencing, because we may have eaten a lot of a certain food and don't need those nutrients for a while because maybe our body stores them in a way that uses them over time. So he started to paint a picture for me that helped me to realize that my body is much more intelligent than I was giving it credit for. And that, sure, I am not at all downplaying that there are certain foods that might be causing you gastric distress or might make you feel awful. And for some of you, you have severe allergies, allergic reactions that are life-threatening, whether that be to peanuts or shellfish or soy, and I am not downplaying those at all. But I'm trying to caution those of you who are transitioning to a plant-centered lifestyle and are now, maybe for the first time, really in touch with your bodily functions, whether that be excreting or taking in food and tasting it. And so when that happens, you're going to start noticing things that you may not have before. So what I would suggest, if there are particular foods that you think, this is causing me some problems, lay off of them for a while. Because what may be going on is it might be a food that you eat a lot of every single day, and your body's just saying, we've had enough for a while. Let's lay off of that and bring it back around again someday. Or perhaps you've got some kind of stomach bug going on, or maybe some other kind of bacteria in your body that's, interfering with digestion right now. And so your body's saying, ooh, that particular food's a little harder to digest and I'm not able to do that right now. I'm prioritizing other things. Once I get that fixed, then I'm going to love that food again. And maybe there are some foods that your body just doesn't like, but you'll be able to figure that out over time without having to chase your tail, getting lots and lots of food sensitivity testing done over and over and over, because I hope that what I'm conveying to you is it's kind of like standing in front of a dike and there's a hole here and you try to plug it. Well, here's another hole and you try to plug it. Well, now there's another hole up here and you try to plug it. And it's never ending. And so I'm hoping that you can get off of that cycle of monitoring your body so closely and being so worried about the foods that you eat that you are no longer enjoying food and you're worrying. And that worry is contributing to the fact that your body is not processing those foods well. Another thing that I would like to point out is that there may be a cumulative effect of certain foods in your body. If you are eating a food on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and feeling absolutely fine, nothing's going on, but by Thursday you're experiencing symptoms, what might be happening is there's a cumulative effect of that particular food in your system, and now it's showing as symptoms of distress of some kind. Also, think about, you could eat something on Monday, but it doesn't actually affect you until Wednesday because it took that long to have the effect on your body. And the trouble with that is that in between that time on Tuesday, you've eaten many other things that you don't realize that it was what you ate on Monday that's causing the distress on Wednesday. Those are just a couple of things to think about in just how tricky it is to determine what food might be causing you distress at this particular point in time. Another thing you might want to do is just, if there are particular foods that you think are causing you problems, keep a very basic food journal of what you're eating when you start feeling bad, and also what you were doing before and after you were eating, because your environmental situation also may be playing a role. Well, I hope what this has done is not confuse you further on food sensitivities, but maybe to kind of raise a red flag that's saying, hey, maybe I want to look more into this concept of food sensitivities and realize that my body is working as hard as it can all the time for me, and that it may be telling me right now that I'm sensitive to something, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be sensitive to that forever. And it doesn't mean that I need to go all in by really trying to get detailed with everything that might be causing a reaction in my body right now. So take it slow. Be excited about the fact that you're more in tune to your body now that you're eating healthy and that your body's processing food more efficiently. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to share my personal experience with you. Good luck, everybody, and have a great week. I'll talk to you soon.